right. Erika, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Congratulations. The secret is out.
Oh, yes.
How does it feel?
I had the best time. I mean, obviously I would have loved to have continued because I was having such a great time, but what a lovely chance to really get to perform and lean into a really cute character.
Yeah. Was it hard to keep the secret?
Yes. I mean, yes and no. I mean, you have to keep the secret. That's being part of a professional. But I did want to tell everybody I was this cute little dog running around on stage.
And tell me about that uniform, because you talked about that, being the Yorkie, how appropriate that was for you.
Well, I really was able to just kind of let my inner 6-year-old just run around. And there's something very freeing about having on a mask and just really getting to lean into the character.
Yeah.
Felt good.
And you, kind of a touching moment last night, you made a tribute to your mother with that song that you did, Stop in the Name of Love. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I think, you know, my mother and I, we somewhat grew up together. She was a young mom and she went through a lot, and I've, you know, recently gone through some changes in my life as well, and it just felt appropriate.
Yeah. And you kind of have been more vulnerable lately, and you talked about it on the show last night. So what made you decide to do that?
Well, I think just having a moment of peace and not feeling so cornered and constantly having to defend myself from every angle, I've been able to relax and really, you know, show a different side of myself. I've also been in continuous therapy, and I think that that's really freed me up a lot.
Yeah. And you're not done performing after last night's performance. You're going to be in the UK at a big
we'll be at the UK June 1st for the Mighty Hoopla, June 3rd for Coco, and yeah, I continue to perform. And you know, I was on Broadway in January and February.
Yeah, they even mentioned that last night. I think Rita Ora saw you or something.
Yes, I've been twice, so I've had 2 runs on Broadway.
Fantastic. What was the most fun about doing the show?
I think being able to be anonymous and have a good time and sing material that I wouldn't have necessarily done, like be a boy band, like Boy Band Night, or sing something from the Black Crowes or My Sharona, and that was really kind of a stretch and fun. The costume was amazing. It also comes with its own challenges. You can see very little. My mask was about 7.5 pounds.
Wow.
My boots were huge, and I was under a lot of fabric.
Wow. More fabric than you're normally in on Housewives.
Probably like 20 layers more, yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Housewives, big news today about Teddi Mellencamp. Have you talked to her at all? Or?
I saw her not last night, the night before.
How is she?
She was great. I mean, we have a podcast together called Diamonds in the Rough, and we had fun together, and yeah. I am very proud of Teddi for being so strong during this really trying time in her life.
Yeah, and is she doing okay? The news today is her dad's, you know, come out and prepared for...
Oh, well, that's also partially humorous. You know, that's humorous. I wouldn't take that way too seriously.
Good. So you're hopeful for her, or you...
Absolutely. I think that she's getting the best care possible, and Teddi's a fighter.
Yeah, good. What's next for Housewives coming up? Can you tease us next week?
Next week is the final episode of the reunion, which is usually the, you know, culmination of everyone's feelings. And yeah, we'll get to see it all wrap up.
Yeah. And how are you enjoying this new kind of side of yourself that you're letting out on the show? And
well, it's actually who I really am. It's who I am when I'm not cornered, when I'm not under intense pressure, and when I'm not being constantly interrogated, knowing that I can't answer. So I've been able to somewhat return to myself.
Yeah, which is what? Who is the person that we don't get to see too often?
You don't get to see the laid-back, soft, sort of easygoing Erika.
No.
But Housewives, by its very nature, doesn't really allow for that, because you're constantly looking for the next thing coming through the door.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we got to see that side of you last night
on
the show.
Yes,
right?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And what about Jenny picking you so early on? Where you knew
I was so irritated, because the very first episode, she's like, I think this is a housewife. I was like, damn it. But, yes, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, and they sort of, Ken was off, but he got the housewife.
He was close.
He was close.
He was close.
What's next for you, besides the show, your performance in the UK?
I am on my way to do a few things in New York, and that I can't really speak about, but they're super exciting.
Good. And with you and Garcelle, will that ever kind of, will you guys be friends again, or what?
You know, I don't know. You know, Garcelle left the show, and people have to do what they feel is right for them.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.